How you doing, brother? How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still alive. I'm still here.
Still alive. Yeah.
Well, Lou, let me welcome you to the show, man. It's an honor to have you as one of the iconic bodybuilders that I watched growing up before I even started bodybuilding. You know, so it's a really honor to have you on the show. And I finally get to ask you a question that I wanted to ask you 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Funny, I would speak, pumping iron. I'm going back to South Africa next month for an event, but 50 years ago we did pumping iron.
Oh, yeah? So
Yes, 1975.
77,
Yeah,
I
you know,
thought.
it was funny. I flew to France to get posed. So Arnold, everyone came to France. We all took a plane, not a jet, airplane, all the way to South Africa. Everybody on that plane. That plane went down. There'll be no bodybuilding today. But it's interesting. Had artists there, Dane, Franco, Arnold, Robbie, Hornet, all on the plane. But it's funny, back then when we got to South Africa, you know, it was different because we couldn't deal with the dieting. They understand about the diet measure today. So basically, we had to just improvise, be the best we can, like bring our own tuna fish. And, you know, it was a different time era because back then there were no women competing. Bodybuilding was a shadow sport. When pumping iron came out, people learned about the sport. But way before then, it was more like a shadow sport. So it's come a long way.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, great. I mean, great to hear these stories. You know, but 75 Olympia pumping iron was your second Olympia, right? You already did 74, you know, before going into this one. So it was that big Lou Schwarzenegger match everybody expected. Going into 75 Olympia, did you feel you can take him?
75 Olympia. Well, you gotta remember one thing. In 1974, 75, I lived in Columbus, Ohio. I was working to see my worker. I only trained 3 months for the competition. When I competed in 73, when I won the Mr. Universe, Arnold trained a whole year. My cast told me to beat me. So I decided to go back to Ohio to film. Now, I didn't have the luxury of living in California, train with my peers, and then, you know, be the head of the game. So back then, I'm just by myself in Brooklyn. But if I had to put the clock back, it would have been a lot closer. Yeah. Because in 1974, after the contest, Arnold said to me, if I had your body, nobody could beat me for 10 years. So that's a 5-year age difference.
I mean, that's funny to hear it, right? Arnold giving a Lou this kind of credit, right? If I have your body, you know, I would dominate for 10 years. Because what we know is he's not easy on giving a compliment and telling other guys that they can beat him.
Oh, you know, pumping iron and prejudging be broken on the scale. Arnold got on the scale, he weighed 228 pounds. I was 268. But because he has small joints, I swear to God, 228 small joints. We had a t-shirt and a shirt on, you would never think it's him. But because the shape of small joints that on the movies, he looked much bigger. Interesting.
So what was your weight when you came back? And I actually competed. I had a pleasure in Helsinki, 92.
I was thinking I was 300. I came back the second year in 1994. I was 325.
325.
Ouch.
325. 1992, I was 300. 1993, I was 325. And the match for Olympia, I was about 295.
Yeah, I have a great video footage of a Masters Olympia. And I don't know if you've seen it. I posted on my YouTube. You look absolutely different level human, double the size, double the width, double the height. I'll send you actually, Dennis, maybe you can play this when you make this episode.
Well,
but Lou, okay, my question before everybody, one more question. Why did you stop 75?
Well, 75, I was training for the 1976 Miss Olympia. So about maybe 2 months before, there was an audition for the Hulk. So I went for the audition. I won the audition. So I went to see Joe Weeder. I said, Joe, listen, I said, I got the audition for the Incredible Hulk pilot TV series. And I don't know if I can compete in the Olympia, do both at the same time. Joe said, compete next year. So the rest is history. I did the pilot of the Hulk. It became a TV series. So what happened at the age of about 41, one morning I woke up, I said to myself, I said to my wife back then, I needed to compete again. It's unfinished business because pumping iron, I wasn't like I was like a rough diamond. I needed to compete for myself because if I never made a comeback, I would feel unfinished inside of me. So I'm glad I made the decision, regardless of where I placed. I was in the best shape I could be because when I competed in pumping iron, I was a younger competitor. When I came back, I was the older competitor, 17 years later.
Different look. Different right there. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I just remember seeing you at Ghost Gym, so many mornings, the days where at least 10 or 15 big professional bodybuilders in there and you stood out all the time. You was always cordial to all the guys. But you put a lot of work in, and even when you retired, you put a lot of hard work in that gym. I watched you.
You see, Chris, the challenge was the fact that when you compete for many years, you have to develop what you call maturity. Like for me to come back 17 years later, if I never stopped competing, I would have much more improvement. Like you take Robbie Robertson. Robbie never stopped training.
Never.
So so that's a different situation because he sleeps as big bodybuilder. But that was my disadvantage. If I had more time, it might be different. But I remember the bigger challenge for me was to develop the hunger to compete again because I knew that if I competed again, I can't look like a 70 bodybuilder. I have to compete with guys like you in the 90s, the guy like Flex Wheeler, Jordan Yates. They take it to the next level, you guys. So for me to make an impact, to compete with you guys, I had to be over 300 pounds because if you take Ronnie Coleman today, I mean, his prime, Ronnie's like 280. I mean, 290. It's different today. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you had a huge family. You had a big family, a lot of kids, and you had a lot on your plate.
Yeah, you can't socialize. You got to watch TV, lay like a zombie. You eat again. You watch
Right.
TV. You cardio. You go back and do posing. Yeah, it's. I think it's the hardest sport in the world.
And one more before the Dennis get back at it.
Go ahead. No, I'm good.
You had a great relationship with Joe. You had a lot of funny stories. I went to Joe's to Joe's party, his last party he had at the at that whatever hotel that was. But you gave a great speech. And you talked about the times where you stayed at Joe's house, and can you elaborate on some of that just for the listeners that a lot of people wasn't there at his little funeral arrangement?
Well, the thing is that when I was in New York at the time, I was going through a severe relationship with my father. So I wanted to get away because back in Brooklyn, my lifestyle wasn't like compared to today. So Joe offered me to come to California because he saved my life because he knew I was dealing with, because it's funny, you take a lot of the major bodybuilders today, most bodybuilders have bad relationship with their fathers. So we have a shield we build like this body and say, hey, Pop, I'm a man, you're not going to abuse me anymore. That's a very common thing with pro bodybuilders. So in my situation, that Joe got me to come to California and you want to be at my best because in Brooklyn, I was going nowhere. I went to Miss Universe twice. I lost to Miss Olympia. I needed some assistance, some guidance. So when I came to California, I felt like I was making a living as a bodybuilder because back then, there was no money in bodybuilding. The only thing you made money back then, maybe train people, but today now it became such a big sport that everybody could benefit from it. So it was a long road, but Joe was like a second father to me. He was like a mentor. And he always said to me, never depend on me to make a living. So I made the decision to venture elsewhere because I knew that you can't compete forever. You can always make money in bodybuilding, but the thing is that it enabled me to do other things in life. I sport beyond bodybuilding, like the discipline, the motivation, the perseverance. So at least I had that benefit to go in that direction.
Right.
Sorry, you mentioned the relationship with your father, and I would never even ask, but now that you said it, there was some TV show when they said like your father this honored you something after the 75 Olympia, like he disowned you or something.
Well, not disowning that for example, but he only trained me just for the movie. He never was
his trainer.
Yeah, it was like I was like a golden goose. So basically, he was more like a stage father. But I knew at the time when I did pumping iron, because when they came out and making a pumping iron, I talked openly what really happened. Because during that time when pumping iron first came out, everybody had the impression Louis got the perfect father, the best father in the world. He cares and loves his son so much. But it was all show. We never really trained together. George Butler called him and said, listen, be in the movie with your son Lou because it shows a good contrast of rivalry with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he's like the main competitor and you're the boy next door. So they want to create that conflict. That's what made the movie.
Did you ever train with Arnold, like one-on-one, like together?
Very rarely, because one time I trained with him briefly. I was on the beach one time in 1976 at Santa Monica Beach. So guess who walked up with Arnold Frank Dean? Arnold said, let's do some calves. Let's do some chin-ups. So I had a chance to train with them, the two of them, because I never had the chance to come to California to see when they trained for the Miss Olympia, because when I came to 76, they moved from the original Gold Gym to the new Gold Gym. But I never really saw that atmosphere back in like 74, 75, which I never had a chance to see because all these guys were there prime.
Did they really send messages back and forth? Because I think we kind of emulated something like that message sending scheme you guys had, like when when Arnold was laying on the beach in the grass there, it was like, tell Lou hi and tell him.
Yeah. It all played up because the fact that we get to film, we had some conflict.
Yeah.
So but it showed back and forth. They needed that. That's why it was a great docudrama back then, because there was no end of the sport. Did you know what first prize was? $700.
Yeah.
$700, Chris. That's my food bill for 3 weeks. I mean, back then there was no money in the sport.
And I used to have the magazine that had to bring me the head of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I used to have that magazine back in the day.
So one thing now that you talk about food, were you a big eater? I mean, you're a big Lou, you're the biggest guy on, like, and everybody was trying to catch up with the high protein and high calories. At that time, in the 70s, were you like eating more than anybody, or you were moderate?
You know, that's a good point, because back then I was starving myself. It was a meat, fish, eggs, water, maybe one piece of food a day. Because back then you have to sacrifice size to get ripped, to get cut. The difference today, you and I know that you could do more cardio, you could eat more like 4 or 5 times a day, and you could train heavy for the competition. Me, back then, we trained down for the competition. That's why in those days, they all started to train very hard 6 weeks before, twice a day. But the thing was the camaraderie thing. So everybody had a T-shirt, a tank top. They see everybody's physique. They can see what needs to be corrected, what to improve on, more thickness here and there. But back then, for me, it was basically meat, fish, and water diet.
Very low carbs, right?
Yeah. I hated it very hard because it depletes your energy, and you got to conserve that energy to work out. And pose it.
I was telling Dennis, Chris, you didn't hear it before we started. I didn't go to Venice Goats too often, but I was there like 90, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, something like that. And I was talking to somebody. All of a sudden, somebody came behind me, picked me up, and ran with me. And I was, that's you, Lou. I'm going to tell you this guy.
What?
I was talking, and you were behind my back. And I didn't, of course, expect it. But I remember this like yesterday, because, I'm in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden, I lost my, ground, and somebody's running with me. And it was you. You grabbed me and ran like, 5 steps. You don't remember that?
Oh, man.
I was full blown, like 70 pounds.
Lou probably had a football flashback, just picked you up and walked with you.
Yeah, that's one of those moments. So like, when you're shocked, it's like, you were handling me like a football. Wow. That's exactly. Yeah.
I was in the world's strongest man competition. Back then, I bet over 500. But it's funny now, I'm 72 years old. But it's funny when you think back then, the things you've done, like you guys were all in their 20s, you lift a ridiculous amount of weights. The things you can do, you feel indestructible.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Lou, if you compare your prep from in the early 70s to the early 90s, because you said you had a 16, 17-year gap in between, If you compare your diet, because you said, you suffered. You basically suffered all the way to the show with almost no carbs or very little carbs. It's crazy for me to even imagine someone being 325 pounds, with very little carbs. Did your diet change from the 70s to the 90s?
Yes, I hired a nutritionist. I work with another bodybuilder named Billy Smith. He passed away. He was a nutritionist. Yeah. I ended up employing a diet that I was eating like maybe 4 or 5 times a day, more like maybe, I would say 400 or 500 grams of carbohydrates, maybe 250, 280 grams of protein. But the thing is, I was training heavy. I was doing a lot more cardio. So that made the difference because I wanted to attain more size than to shrinking down. But because of the cardio situation, the pose you can eat more, it makes a huge difference. But the thing that I want to get forward that most guys today, I see a lot of your conversations, like Milos, everybody, people forget that we have good genetic.
Right.
And it doesn't come out of the bottle. It's hard work. You have to go beyond that pain barrier. That's why I made the decision to come back and work with the nutritionist to eat more 4 or 5 times a day. Like I mentioned, protein every meal with carbohydrates, low in fat. That made a significant difference.
Wow. Yeah, man. And we should see Billy, Smith, Mike Quinn, and all those guys. I can see him in my mind right now, and it wouldn't be, even the mighty Quinn. I saw him doing 465 bent over rows for like 4 reps. I remember I was like 16 years old and I'm watching. I came to the gate just to watch you guys, and I was in high school still, but I'd drive up to Venice just to stand at the gate so I can see you guys train. And I'd watch you guys. I'd buy a magazine or a T-shirt at Gold's once a month. Then I go to Gold's Gym. I go to the Venice beach out there and watch those guys train on the beach. Then I go back home with a lot of motivation. That was my motivation, was to go there once a month, go watch you guys train. See Charles walking around there with Mike Christian and people like that. And then I would, that was my motivation, is watching you guys train like that. And I mean, that was like every month. You guys were there.
You were watching
all the time.
Because you like that when you watch it. It takes heavy training, heavy weights, and have a champion mind. It's the only way. There's no Miss Olympia today. Anybody that wins, any pro IFBB bodybuilder that never trained heavy, they had to train heavy, hard, with good form to attain that kind of a size. Back then, like when you came here, because you were attracted to that strength factor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that attracted you because I don't know about your childhood growing up, but you wanted that same thing, that you want to be strong, powerful.
Yeah, they told me, because the guy that was first told me, he said, you're not shit unless you're doing at least 4 plates on the incline. So I was like hell bent on being that guy. I was like, I got to be that guy. I got to do that. So that was my mindset, training with Gary Stridham and stuff like that in that gym. I mean, that's where I got it from. But like you said, a lot of people talk today, when they talk bodybuilding, they just want to see what they can take, see what they can put in their bodies, see what they can add to their bodies. And the mindset changed, because the mindset, like you said, was just as what you were just talking about. It wasn't like, oh man, if I can add a little bit, if I can add more 400 milligrams of this or whatever. That's what most of the talk is about.
Yeah, but it's all hard work. That's what it takes. You go beyond that pain barrier. You take 2 more reps, and the squat, you've got to do it. That's separate the men from the boys.
Yeah. I was just watching. I don't want to interrupt you guys too much, but that's 94 Olympia Masters, and when they show the top 5, I mean, literally, Lou was twice the size. There was yeah.
Milos and Chris, think back.
I'll send you that.
Think back. Because Lou at 325, this has to be the biggest bodybuilder to ever grace a bodybuilding stage.
Yeah,
yeah, you were like 6'4", 6'5", right, Lou?
Yeah. And
almost 6'5".
And we talking, and we talking the 325. That was in the early 90s, right, Lou?
Yeah.
So we're talking 30 years ago, and since then we haven't seen anybody come in at 325.
That's why I made the decision to come back. I had to shock the world because I can't compete with an a 70 bodybuilder. But the hardest thing for me would come back to 15 years, you're out of that limelight in bodybuilding. You want to build the size and the confidence that gets posed. So when I made that first comeback, I realized that when I competed again 2 more years, it got easier because I have really more qualities within the muscle. When you take a 17-year layoff, I'm talking about from everything just to keep in shape, it was tough because you gotta train those tendons and ligaments to get used to the heavy training again. It's not like you just snap your finger and say, I'm going to be in shape in 1 month.
Right.
I mean, when you compete with the boys today, I mean, I think every one of those guys on stage could be Miss Olympia. I mean, think about it. If you look at the common bodybuilders, it's amazing. Like Dorian Yates, you take like Haney, all these people. I mean, to win year after year. I mean, that's why when you look at the progress, you can see.
And Lou, we would give you guys, you would get some improvement. Takes a few weeks, takes a couple of months, and you had improvements. But not today. People are looking for improvements like at the end of the week or just in a couple of days. That's where they want to see the improvement, like that. I mean, it's a different look for me.
But I think the bodybuilders today don't have a choice. It's not their fault because they sacrifice their symmetry. But today, to compete, you have to be on stage with straight glutes, straight lower back. You have to. That's what they demand.
See, but you were considered mass monster in sense because 325, 6'5", but you were aesthetic. There was always, I always say hashtag bodybuilding. Yeah, if you can be as big as you can, but still look like a classic bodybuilder, which you exemplify, this was a huge thing. I remember when they put you next to Dorian in 92 Olympia, right? And Dorian was a monster, but there was definite difference in size. And then going to 93, you were standing there next to Paul Dillette and Dorian. I mean, those are great moments. You see, what people don't realize, like you lost to them. It's not like they demolished you, they completely dominated you. It's a little differences. That's okay. Maybe for 6'5", he would still need to be a little bit bigger comparatively to Dorian.
The difference is, if you go look back, say the 1966 Miss Olympia, remember Larry Scott? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Sergio Lever. There'll be no contest because Sergio will win easily. But in those days, he was the golden boy, the big arm, the bigger guy win. But today, he had to do more with quality because it had to do with the calves, the lower back, everything. Like, for example, Howard Poole back then, equally won because when I came back for the first time, like you mentioned, every 17 years, I didn't understand what the compulsory rounds was. You stand there flex, it's just, I was just standing there like the 70s, throw a couple poses, but I realized back then you have the compulsory round, you got to show each body part, like the chest, back in detail. You have to show that. That was a big difference. But if you take that compulsory round today, put it back 50 years ago, it would be a completely different look of bodybuilding.
Well, another thing is posing. I mean, you are known for a good posing. How do you feel about IFBB taking completely posing round out of the scoring system?
I disagree because it's important to have that because it's a missing factor. It's so important to have that. You have to have that. It's a shame.
Hey, but
I know.
Louis, just to have you on, it's an honor for us because we have the magazines, we have Joe brought this full circle, but you were to us. I mean, I was 7 years old, 8 and 9 years old. I didn't know what bodybuilding was exactly, but I did have you on weekly on the show, The Incredible Hulk. And my favorite part of the whole movie, I would watch it every single time. But just to watch you grow, and the guy would get mad. Like I couldn't wait for the guy to get mad to see you start flexing and hitting the crab, and that was like my favorite part. But just like I was that young, but I knew I wanted that because that's what I saw first was that, and I was like, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I didn't know how to get there or what it was exactly, but that was the start of me in my whole career.
Yeah, because back then, most of us have what you call that inferiority complex. Everyone developed our self-esteem, but by bodybuilding, that's very common. But it was funny,
Oh
when I
yeah,
was a kid,
yeah.
14,
But I
15,
started,
16, I would read the Muscle magazine. I never had a chance to go to a gym to see the bodybuilders in person. So I had to go by the magazine and to read all the different exercises they've done. I probably done every exercise, and I kept dreaming on Sunday afternoon I'll be by myself in the basement with a quiet and to daydreaming to be a bodybuilder. But it's funny how that you get attracted to that and you go in that direction. Like you mentioned, that's what you wanted to do. But something about you kept you attracted to that. It's about power. We wanted that power inside of us to be a world champion. It's a wonderful thing because it's going from negative to positive. Instead, if you didn't have that, you probably would have done bad things in life, doing drugs, alcohol, bad things. But at least we had the bodybuilding to
yeah, I
survive.
was, and I started school very young, and I finished my high school at 16. So I was like younger than a lot of
Oh,
my friends. My friends were, older than me. I didn't, my puberty and everything was a lot later than theirs. So I wanted to start working out so I can catch up to my friends somehow. And I ended up passing them. They started calling me man child and all this stuff when I was in high school because my muscles started growing. And I just kept at it.
yeah.
My question was,
Fun.
yeah, sorry to, because I can ask Lou a million questions, but how did you start lifting weights and why? And did you have any like inspirational bodybuilder that you were inspired by them so you wanted to look like somebody?
Okay, when I was young, close to birth, I lost like 85% of my hearing. I had a severe speech impediment. I had a severe hearing loss. So I used to read comic books all the time, fantasized to be in the Hulk. The Hulk, the only character that had spandex, you see the muscle. What changed my life, I went to see Steve Reeves. He did Hercules. When Steve Reeves had to pull the chain, I said, that's it. That's what I wanted. And then the big change for me when I was almost 17, I begged my father to take me to see the 1969 Miss Olympia. I'll never forget. I'd never seen bodybuilder before. So I went downstairs and there was a big room. Everybody was pumping up. And who's standing there? Schwarzenegger. And he's pumping up. He was probably the biggest man I've seen in my life. I'm looking at his bicep. It was like such a rush for me. I said, that's what I want. I felt like I was going somewhere. So I had all these obstacles to overcome my diversity. So basically, I knew that that would help me. It's funny how you get attracted to it. I said, that's what I wanted. And then from there, I developed a discipline to better for myself at different things in life. But back then, with the hearing aid, I couldn't hear the speech. And people thought I was some kind of a weak kid or something that needs assistance all the time. So basically, that was like a training platform
At
for me.
69, he lost to Sergio Oliva, no?
Yes, he won the universe. He came from England. And then won Napa Universe. I remember he won the universe and he posed next to Sergio in the prejudging. I was so disappointed that night that he lost. But the truth is that Sergio was in a better shape that night. And that was his third time to win the Miss Olympia. But I remember that seeing those two guys up there. I mean, if I could take you guys with me, go back in 1969 and show you that competition, I can't explain to you what it's like. It's so different than today. To see those guys, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, Oliva had probably a freak genetics. I've never seen a bodybuilder with genetics like that. I mean, it's a freak. It's Arnold, so that's why I see the two together. And still today, those guys, if they had today the dietary needs today, I couldn't imagine what they would look
What
like.
city was that in?
The Brooklyn Academy in New York,
Okay, well,
1969.
guess what? The New York crowd is still like that today. I wouldn't say the same for California, but when you go to New York,
Yeah.
that crowd is the same enthusiasm. I love competing in New York.
Yeah. Mhm.
Lou,
For sure.
if I may, it's like
Right.
I read something this morning and I didn't even know about this, but I'm going to ask you because I want to know if this is the truth. Did you train Michael Jackson at one point?
on and off for 20 years. He wanted to keep it private, yeah.
So you trained Michael. So you trained him also. Didn't you train him also for his the final tour that he planned, and he unfortunately died?
I did go to his house. I spent time with his kids. I trained him. I had to go on a book tour, and I said to Michael, I said, I'll be back in a couple of weeks. He was just turned 54. He was 50 because he was going to go on the tour. He made a bigger comeback and made it to history. Did you know he was in debt? $430 million. He was in debt. He had to the tour. So I remember I flew to Pennsylvania and I got a phone call. Somebody called me. They said, listen, Michael died. I thought it was a joke. But the guy, apparently, I was shocked. But for years, he would come to my facility in Santa Monica. You see, he loved my passion for fitness. I loved his passion for music. We have very similar fathers. He told me that his father would wake him up in the middle of the night, put vaccine on his butt, and just whip him. You got to just whip him. So Michael had a rough childhood. But the thing is, just being with him, he was attracted to fitness. I mean, he didn't do bodybuilding, or like the toning, the shaping, the light stuff. But it was quite an amazing person. But on and off for 20 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
I do remember. So you trained. I bought the Cybex bike from you. I don't know if you remember that. Our guitar is so Dennis. I had the best Cybex bike, and it was loose. But so you had a gym. Did you train other people?
I trained
Celebrities?
Chuck Norris. I trained Mickey Rourke. I trained a lot of lawyers and doctors. People come all over the world to just be with me and have me to train them. Yeah, all over the world. I would say I've done it for almost 40 years. But it was quite an experience because, like Chuck Norris, if I told him to do 5 more reps, he would do 5 more reps. He was a champion. That's what makes a champion. You just say 5 more, he would do 5 more. Because
with the same face. He would not change the face anyway.
Exactly. But you know, Neil, if you look at today, look at the screen, you see Hugh Jackman, you see all these actors, they got abs, they're fit, like Gerard Butler. Back in the early 70s, nobody would think of putting Arnold in a movie unless you're playing like some kind of a monster. But like Sylvester Stallone, he broke the mold because you don't have to have perfect speech. You don't have to have the physique. You have to look like a Cary Grant. Basically, you can use your size and your personality.
Yeah.
Lou, what would you consider the highlight of your career?
Well, I won the Miss Universe at the age of 21, unanimous, because I won the Miss America in 1973, and then 6 weeks later, I had a trip to go to Geneva, Switzerland, to compete in Miss Universe. So the judges said I'm 2 years away from winning the competition. What I did, I said to myself, nobody's going to beat me. I mean, I trained day and night. I took whatever what I needed to get in shape. I mean, I literally diet. I trained hard. I remember when I won that competition, for me, I went against all the odds. People said, you can't. I proved that I could be the world champion because I had a father always said to me, if you have perfect hearing, you'd be a great athlete. If you had it, I've always been put down by naysayers. So when I won the universe with the highlight, I realized that I made the right decision because it was my dream. Because see, in life, we have this passion. I love that passion. If you embrace that passion, you have to have a passion. So that was my passion, because back then in the early 70s, nobody cared if you worked out. Like people thought in the neighborhood, I worked out with barbells and dumbbells. They think maybe something's wrong with me, thinking that I hate school because I talk about bodybuilding and barbells and dumbbells. So when I won the universe, it gave me a lot of notoriety and respect.
Yeah, and that's IFBB, right? So Dennis, maybe you guys don't know. Back then, there was not weight classes. There was tall, medium, and short.
Yes.
And you have a Ken Waller and Mike Cutts and Albert Beckless and all these guys competing in this show that Lou won. And that was before 73 Olympia, you know? So, I mean, that's the level. You know, sometimes, you know, we just say the title, but who was in the show? I mean, there was a stacked lineup. Yeah, because as we know, Arnold won some of the Olympia uncontested. He was the only one on the stage, right? Yeah. So, but this show was like stacked.
You competed in more competition than most pro bodybuilders. I remember you hold the record. You competed in so many competitions. I think with the years thing, I remember I kept seeing you compete again and again, and never forget. And so today, I've never seen anybody like you sustain that condition, that shape to compete, like what, 10 or 15
I started that
competitions a
later
year.
on. Chris copied me, right? But I started this. Of course, I'm a poor Yugoslavian kid that doesn't have much money, and I turned pro. So for me now, I arranged with my sponsor that they can pay for any show I want to compete in, flight and hotel and everything. So after I got this in the contract, I said, okay, now it is going Monday through Friday to the job. I can't take a
Right.
Tuesday off or Wednesday off, right? So any pro show that was organized, I competed in. And unfortunately, at my era, I had to compete with the guys that I had no business even thinking I can beat them, like Sean and Kevin and Flex and Chris and Paul, but I know you probably also have a winner's mentality. And like Sean Ray would say, second place is first loser. I swear I never felt like I was loser wherever I placed. I'm next to you guys. I shared the stage with you. I blasted pictures of me and you from that 93 Olympia, like all over my Instagram, because that's a history for me. I can watch this all day long. And I remember the feeling. Okay. People see the picture and they think this is it. But I embrace the moment. I know you doing a side chest next to Arnold, and I was doing the same side chest next to Lou. Nobody can take away that from me.
The hard thing
Right?
about bodybuilding is it's objective sport. When you're on stage, this is my opinion. The judges have their opinion. It's not fair in some ways, because sometimes a judge may not like you because of certain look, this and this. It's politics. I don't care what anybody said. That's why sometimes when you see a competitor compete in a contest, like you're shocked who should have won, who should have won. You have the ability to do for yourself. You can't go with the attitude saying, well, if I don't win the competition, then I'm going to give it up. It's a subjective sport. It's not like basketball when you throw the ball in the basket. It's 2 points, done.
Yeah,
Bodybuilding
and that's the thing, Milos. We competed because we wanted to improve. We wanted to see. I wanted to improve. We wanted to see the improvement. It wasn't all about if I win or I lose. I'll do multiple shows. Even as a teenager, I was doing 8 shows back to back because I wanted to improve. I wanted to get better. I wanted to understand what I need to do and what's not to do. And no way to get a clear understanding about that is just compete. Compete and compete and compete. You're only going to have this body for a certain time. You got to take advantage of it by competing, getting up there and do your thing.
Yeah. But Lou, you also.
One more thing before I forget. I want to know, did you ever work out with Arthur Jones? And did you ever go through that whole thing with
That's
Arthur
a good question,
Jones?
because I was 19. There was a competition, a Dan competition. So Sergio came with Arthur Jones. They introduced an order machine. I'll never forget, I stood up and they had to take my shirt off to pose. Arthur said to me, Lou, your full potential, you'll be 280 pounds ripped. I said, what? I weighed like 220. I said 280 because he saw my potential. But then eventually I went to see the Mid America competition, 1970, I think 1971, AAU, Mid America, York, Pennsylvania. Arnold came down, Sergio came down, everyone. Casey won that competition. And Arthur said he only trained 8 times a month with that competition. So when he introduced the Nautilus machine, it changed my life too, because you learn about the force rep, the drop set, the negative. So I remember it had an effect on me when he told me that, because I just knew that he gave me a goal to strive for. I ended up being 325, but instead of 285. But he was right though, because you take your body up to the point. Like Casey Viator, he's very strong. And Casey, think about his routine. You do leg press. You remember this routine? You do leg press, the whole stack on the universal machine, right? Then you do leg extension with the whole stack to failure. Then you squat 500 pounds for 13 reps. Sergio did it. He collapsed and squat. That's what Casey did. 505 pounds, 505 pounds for 13 reps after heavy leg press, leg extension.
I'd love to try that.
Speaking of that, who is the strongest guy you ever saw lifting?
Me,
Yeah.
the bodybuilder, I would say pound for pound Franco.
Yeah.
Franco bench 505 and the body weight 185. And also very strong, also
Wow.
Ken Wallow. Yeah. I mean, my opinion of all overall, Ronnie Coleman. That man that bend over row for 500 pounds.
Yeah.
200-pound dumbbell. I've never seen a human like that. When I saw him for the first time backstage, I got scared looking at him. I've never seen a human being look like that. But you talk about the most powerful man, I think Ronnie hands down.
Yeah, you're right.
500 pound bend over row. But
I was right next to him. Because you didn't hear this story. 2003, he came to my gym and Bud, you want to train? Ronnie Coleman. I said, Bud, you want to train? I said, okay, Ronnie, what are you going to train? Back. Okay, I follow you. So I'm going following big Ronnie Coleman. So he's putting that bar for the T-bar rows. So I said, okay, I put the 2 plates, warm up. And he goes, hey, what's that? I say, warm up. He moves me and puts the 6 plates. Now, in my gym, I had those small little, like 1 finger 45s, right? The 6 plates was his warm up. 9 plates was the second set. 12 plates was the third set. Okay? Then go to the bend over row and start with the 3 plates, 4 plates, 5 plates, and then 5.5. From there, you go to the dumbbells, and I only had the 200-pound dumbbells. I guess he has a 300-pound dumbbells, and he was like so disappointed, right? And he was repping all that, and then he went to the deadlift. And you know what? My ex taped it, and I hope to God I find that one day, because that's going to be, people have to see it to believe it. He was playing with it, and that was the first workout. He was coming back in the evening, right? And in the evening, when I see him parking, I just left the gym.
You left the back. You left to the back door.
I got a funny story. Almost 20 years ago, I went to go with Jim. Ronnie walked in. This is no exaggeration, right? A squat back from the back. The Ronnie do a squat, like 300, 400, right? The Ronnie looked at me and said, could you give me a spot? He had 605 on the bar, 615. I said to myself, if he gets stuck, I can't pick the thing off his back. Now, Ronnie gets under the bar. Listen to that. 1, 2, like nothing. I swear about 12, 13 reps, he racked the bar. You know what he said to me? It feels a little light today.
Yeah.
Remember we did that one shoot where we had the boxing gloves running like that?
I was there.
On a jam. But did you see the workout? Film the workout. Was that Chris Lunn shooting that, or was that
Jim? Yeah, it was in my gym. Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember now the workout.
That was the one.
We were doing like.
Hey, Chris, I got a question. This man won the Olympia 8 times. Why are you putting himself in a wheelchair? Why does he keep training heavy, beating his body up? I mean, I understand 8.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Wow.
That's what
Okay.
Can't stop.
Chris, I don't want to stop you, but I'm going to tell Lou something. I asked Ronnie maybe a year ago, Ronnie, knowing now, if you knew then what you know now, would you train differently? Because 13 surgeries, wheelchair and all that stuff. He said, would you go lighter? He says, hell no. It was light for me. So what you just said, feels light. He says it was light for me.
I have both knees replaced, both hips replaced, 2 rotator surgery. They always say that when you're in the 50s, the 60s, you want to avoid like doing heavy calf work, stuff like that, because you can't afford to put stress on the joint. I don't care what you take, what do you do with drugs and everything. The problem is you can't fight Mother Nature. When you get older, you can't abuse that body. That's why, like Ronnie, to keep training heavy, it's sad because he's such a wonderful champion. But after winning the Olympia 8 times, but especially if you keep training heavy, the body can't handle it.
He's in Brazil doing a heavy cable.
Well, I don't think he's training heavy anymore. I watch him train. It's just light. He's going high reps. He'd done his heavy workout. I mean, at the end of the day, did the training have something to do with his condition right now? Maybe, I don't know if you would train like him for a long period of time, that there's some kind of damage probably to especially in the back. So I don't know.
He's not human.
But he's not human, number one, and he will never give up. He will still train. I mean, I remember stories where he came out of surgery and he's in the gym training back and breaking screws and stuff.
I don't know how he does it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I never forget one interview. He said he squatted 800 for 2 reps. He said he's disappointed he could have done another 2 reps, which I think he could have.
Yeah, probably.
800 pounds?
Yeah, that's his greatest regret. Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
Hey,
800 pounds.
Yeah. Okay, Lou, then I throw this. I said it before publicly. He was in my gym, and somebody asked him, "Hey, Ronnie, how many times can you bench 225, 100 kilos? Because that's, I guess, measurement for football, NFL, combine, whatever. 225?" He says, "I don't know." And then he puts the 225, lays down, and does it 88 times. God. I remember this, and the biggest regret of my life is Dennis knows I was always with the camera in the gym, but this time I was like in the middle of a gym and this happened, and he just lay down and started doing it. It was 88 reps. It's like, why didn't you just do 100, right?
Hey, I got a good one for you. Yeah. Tom Class one time did 50 reps with 315 in the squat.
I knew that.
At 10 minutes, he did it again. 50 reps.
That was my goal, and I went up to 40 twice, but that I would collapse after 40. But that was my goal. Is when I saw that he did that, that was my goal. I said, if I did that, then I would probably get some legs like Tom Platz. But it didn't happen. But they did grow. Like
I remember when you trained with Charles Clark and Flex Wheeler. I kept saying to myself, "Chris Tremere, man, he's almost twice the weight Flex is him." You are one strong hell of a guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's the thing. Hey, I got one more question. I know it's kind of off, but you told a story at the funeral about going to Joe's house, and you said you were staying there on the couch, I think. But you would take the magazine. You would see Betty in the magazine. You would take the magazine to the bathroom. Was that a true story, or was you just?
When I was a kid, you're 14, 15. Like with them, you see 1 million BC because kids going through puberty. You do the stuff in the bathroom. Right. But I remember looking at the magazine. and Betty Weeder, like, oh my God! But I bring it up. It's funny. She was embarrassed about it, but yeah. That Playboy. I mean,
Lou, do you still follow bodybuilding?
Still alive, though.
You still follow the bodybuilders today?
Yeah. Sure. On Facebook, I watch all the interviews, everything, everybody, of course.
What do you think about the current crop of bodybuilders, and who do you see winning the Olympia this year?
It's tough because the first 3 or 4 guys are brutal. I mean, it's hard because I'm not there to judge you, but whenever they have the competition, I would text Sean Ray. I said, Sean, what do you think? What do you think? Because Sean's at the competition. But I'll tell you, the current champion, it's tough. I mean,
Who's your favorite bodybuilder? Different question. Who's your favorite one out of the crop today? Who do you favor the most?
It's hard to say because there's a couple of guys I was hoping that they would like, for example, it's hard to say because I haven't seen the recent 2 minutes Olympia, but sometimes I forget the name. I would say it's tough. It's tough to say.
There's
Hadi, and there's
Hadi
like Big Ramy. I like him. Big Ramy's one, and then who's the other guy? Besides Big Ramy.
I mean, we have it now. Hadi Chopin, Derek Lansford, Samson Dauda, Andrew Jack, Brandon Curry, Hunter Labrada.
Yeah, because now they have the other guy. They say Flex Lewis. He won like 7, 8 times.
Yeah, Flex Lewis retired long ago.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if you put him in that competition because now you have so many weight division. You know what I'm saying?
But those 212 guys, they are moving up to the open now. It's been the last few years you've been seeing that. So that's why I was wondering, even back when back when you're competing on, they had the short and the tall.
Right.
It's that same type of theme. But that's but those guys actually went up and beaten the taller guys now.
I think the whole period, Haney, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, today is so different because I think it's kind of like going slightly downhill because it depends on the genetic because there's many more competitors.
But there's a strong genetic pool coming from the mid-20s now that's going to be, I think fantastic in the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, and those guys are pretty young right now.
Oh yeah. But now you have over 20 competitors. Back then you had maybe 3 or 4 guys, but today.
But in my opinion, Luz, they have some guys, 20, 21, 22, trying to make statements. I just think it's a little bit young, just because I want to see the full potential, and I think it's hard when you go that hard, that young, to get the full potential out of the physique moving into the 30s.
Who's that guy? He went to Arnold Classic. He died about 2 or 3 years ago. What was his name? The big guy you joke about Arnold States.
Oh, Cedric McMillan.
Cedric.
He competed.
Oh, Cedric.
Yeah, he's a military guy.
Yes.
Cedric. Yeah.
Now he has the potential. I think he could have been Miss Olympia if he kept on.
Yeah,
he would have.
He definitely.
yeah, he had Mr. Olympia written all over him.
If they would have had the heart.
Yeah.
Lou, you were in a police, right? You were a police officer, honorary.
Yeah, I'm a sheriff, deputy sheriff. 19 years through the academy because I wanted to be a real police officer. So I took 6 months of driving, the shooting, all that stuff to be qualified. Yeah. See, my father was a policeman.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, he always said to me, "You're gonna, hey kid, you'll never be a cop." So I pulled him off.
I get you out of tickets and everything. Did you ever get out of any tickets with that?
Yeah, I've done that over the years. I teach shooting and everything. I enjoy it, but today is so different because everybody got iPhone. It's a tough situation today. You got to be careful. I see all of us. We can't afford to show anger, upset in public because we're like a threat. That's why today, it's a shame because what's going on in this world. You have somebody that's family, people saying that fighting, domestic dispute, all that kind of stuff. A different time era.
Oh yeah.
You'll never see anybody pick on bodybuilder for a fight. They know better.
Yeah, for sure.
I was married too many times, but I want to ask you because I see you and Carla many times. Are you guys still together?
No, I'm going through a divorce now. My wife has Alzheimer's. So I can't go in detail with the brutal divorce. The divorce is almost over. So it's
I don't want to bring it up, but
Lou, I have a final question for you before we let you go today. And my final question to you is, what is your secret to staying so young?
Yeah.
Got all your hair and everything.
Because you look, I mean, you're gonna be 73 in 2 months. I'm sorry. You're going to be 73 in 2 months, and you still look like you're in your 50s.
I don't carry hate. I don't stress myself out. I enjoy life. I don't overindulge in doing things like, for example, I don't do anything to hurt myself. I just have a good attitude. I like being positive. I like to enjoy every day because, what I had to overcome my life was a different surgery. Like, for example, 4 months ago, I had to have knee surgery again. So you're dealing with you say to yourself, I just want to enjoy every day in life. We have to, because in the world we live now with the COVID situation, with what's going on in this world, I mean, I just want to enjoy every day because I'm very happy inside. I have inner happiness now. That's important to me.
I'd like to see you with that Ferrigno Classic back in Palm Springs, man. I used to enjoy that show.
Yeah, that's the last time I said 2017.
Yeah, he did. It was a lot of work, but at the time we had the competition. It was a beautiful competition.
One more thing, Dennis. I think Lou tore his biceps walking the dog. Is this true?
No, what happened one time, I had a big air compressor on the truck, and I put the truck in a 1,000-pound air compressor, big. So my daughter's running around. I remember I was afraid she was going to get killed because the air compressor was rocking back and forth. And once I grabbed the air compressor from falling, I tore my bicep off the bone completely. Now, this was 40 years ago that they reattach it back to the bone. And I was able to come back to competition. But anytime you tear a muscle part, you have to have a reattachment within 2 weeks, because if you don't do it, like for Tom Plass waited, if you wait, it goes back into the muscle. They have to repair it. They have to pull it out of the joint and then reattach it, so you lose muscle tissue. So back then, 40-some years ago, I was nervous because I wanted to get the strength back. But at least I found a good doctor. He reattached it right away. And now you have other bodybuilder accounts with the same problem. But at least today, with a good surgeon, you could fix things.
Well, Lou,
Yeah.
I appreciate you making the time, man. I know you're very busy. Therefore, I thank you so much for coming on, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Well, I'm so happy to see my friends Chris, you guys, and then Milos. It's great because I live in San Luis now. I moved 4 hours from LA, but it's great to see you guys because we need to stick together, because this is what we have today, because we're losing a lot of bodybuilders recently. It's sad, but at least what we have now, enjoy the camaraderie and the friendship. I appreciate you guys supporting me, being around, and
We all appreciate you, and we all love you. You're the legend
Thank
forever.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Lou, one more thing before I let you go. Did you ever think about doing something with stem cells?
Do what?
Stem cells?
Themselves.
I did. I helped me a little bit, but I'd like to do it again because I think you could go in Denver, Colorado. I'd love to definitely do stem cells.
I'm talking about the stem cells from babies' umbilical cords, the new cells, not the old cells. The old cells they take from you.
I did try it. I did do it 5 years ago. It helped me a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Scott. Huh?
You know what I did yesterday morning? Did you ever hear called the cold full plunge?
Cold plunge.
You go in for the 40 something. Okay, I went in for about 30, almost a minute. My joints were hurting, but they say it's great for the joint, anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
40 degrees for 3 minutes.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely
be
good.
beneficial.
Good for inflammation. Lou, I'm gonna have Scott.
right.
I'm gonna have Scott reach out to you regarding some stem cells. I might.
Okay, you got
I
it.
might have someone for you to talk to. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Take care. God bless you. Stay safe, Lou.
Okay, thank you so much.
Nice seeing you.
You too.
Nice seeing you.
Appreciate it.
Lou.
Bye, guys. Thank you, too.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Wow.
I didn't
love it.
I didn't know Lou was so talk active. It was awesome. Thank you guys for. I spoke 37 words total. That's the first time I could literally just do this. That was awesome. That was awesome. No, he's a cool cat. A lot of people have
Oh my God.
have the wrong idea because they see him at the booth, and they saw him back in the days at the booth, and I see him so many times get so much hate regarding pictures that he was charging and stuff. He's actually a cool cat, man.
Such a lovable guy.
Yeah.
Your business, though. Your personal business. You can run it how you want to run it.
Yeah, true. So what's up? What's up, guys? What's up with you two? What happened in the
What's
bodybuilding
happening?
world? We had we had a little what is it that I wanted to bring up from last week? I can't remember. See, I forgot it. I listened so much. Oh, where is that?
Yeah. Oh.
You and Chris.
Oh, damn. Where is
You
that
see
from?
that? You see that?
2002. I don't know.
You see
But I
that?
found
Is that in Europe?
2002 somewhere.
That's probably just right around the time where I whooped Chris's ass.
Oh, look at this guy.
No,
right around the
But you got listen, Milos. You got
right around good time.
you got to scan these pictures and send them through.
I do. Here's the scanner. I pulled a bunch of it.
I have a lot.
That's one
I have a lot of pictures from 2002 too, but not from shows, but from the wedding back in Thailand.
Yeah.
I have a
I have
whole
Yeah,
a whole
me too.
box full of pictures.
I want to see the good ones though.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I want to see the good photos.
So what's new in the bodybuilding world? Do we have anything to talk about?
Well,
Right.
Hunter LABRADA.
Andrea Shaw lost to
Yes, I was there. And I did not.
Yes.
I did not see prejudging, but I went there for the finals. So I watched their routines and I watched the confirmation round. And in the middle of the confirmation round, I said, "This is." I mean, and Andrea has the best body, but she just wasn't. She wasn't.
What percentage of what percentage of how big of the percentage? Like, how much more does she need to beat?
Oh, she needs to just. But I guess for the Olympia, she's gonna drop the hammer now, and she's gonna come into the Olympia and just walk away with it. I'm sure. I mean, she's that good, but she was off. She was clearly off, especially from the hind, glutes, hamstrings. It wasn't.
Yeah, I saw that.
She's
I
never.
saw the glutes
She's
a little bit.
She's never the hardest one, but this time she was really. It was too obvious. And the other one, Angela Joe, she was on. And I'll tell you this: the one that impressed me the most was Ashley Jones. Ashley Jones, she got third. If she comes in shape, both of them are in trouble.
Hey, well, listen. The thing is, with Jones, I saw her in New York, and when I saw her before the competition, and before the competition, I was telling Terry, I said, "Bro, I said this girl right here, I said she can challenge everybody."
Yep.
She came from figure, and she only's done a couple of bodybuilding competitions. She was 12th, I believe, in the last Olympia, but she's arrived, and I think it's only the beginning for her. I think
She
give her
competed.
another
She
year or
competed.
two, or
She competed in the Olympia last year. Ashley Jones.
because she went to physique after figure, and then she went to then she came to bodybuilding now.
I know, but you said
She was in physique before
you
that.
said she got 12th at the Olympia last year.
I believe she was 12th last year, if I'm not mistaken. I took some notes on her before.
I don't know.
And
I didn't know
she,
that she was in the Olympia.
Well,
But no, she's good.
oh, she was in Olympia before.
Okay, but that was for me the first Rising Phoenix where you saw the top girls on stage. The top three are going to be the top three at the Olympia, no doubt in my mind.
If you see her torso, Jones, her torso favors both of those in the future for me, because just the way she's built.
Yeah, and from the back, she's got the widest back.
Yeah.
Even though she's the shortest one, but she's got crazy size. She looks good. She looks good.
He 5'5", that girl, 5'5".
I don't even think she's that. I don't even think she's 5'5".
5'4", 5'5".
Bro,
Yeah, she's
come
little
on.
that.
She looked like she's
little.
5'2".
She's 5'5".
She ain't no 5'5".
5'4".
No,
Yeah.
she ain't no 5'5". Ain't no 5.
5'4". 5'4". She's an easily Sean Ray height for sure.
She's shorter, man. What are you talking about? She's the shortest one. She's shorter.
I know.
She's shorter than Angela Joe.
I know.
Anyways, Milos mentioned Hunter LABRADA. Hunter looks damn good. I gotta say. I saw some pictures from, I don't know if they knew. He's gonna surprise a lot of people. He looks.
I saw the quad striations, in the one shot, and then I just want to see that transfer onto the stage. That's what I want to see. I want to see it onto the stage, because he's got what he needs to do. Just if he can land that plane right and show everything he's capable of showing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I'm sure he's getting it. I'm sure he gets it right, because he knows this is his second to last shot. I mean, if he doesn't qualify in Italy, he has to qualify in England. But I'm sure he's going to walk away with Italy. I don't care who else shows up, to be honest. Just by
Supposedly he's staying in Italy. He's staying in Italy. I don't know who mentioned, family is coming over.
I just saw.
So they're gonna
I just saw.
Italy. He's not.
I just saw pictures of his last workout. Was it yesterday, in Texas?
Hamstring.
No,
Hamstring.
no, it was. He was posing, and he was training with Ronnie.
Oh, it's probably.
I saw that a little bit.
Yeah, I think this was his final workout here. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure he's gonna. I mean, shit. By looking at the pictures,
Rubiel competing?
Chris don't know that.
What'd you say?
Is Rubiel competing?
Yes, he is.
Good.
What do he look like?
Yes, he is.
Do you know what he looks like?
No, I do not.
No?
I didn't see him.
I mean, who else?
But he's
Do we
good.
know who's
Oh,
competing in these
see,
shows at all?
Here's what I wanted to bring up today because I forgot. Now I remember again. You remember when we had Vlad on as a guest 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, where when Milos asked him the question about this broken arm situation. And I couldn't remember exactly what he was saying because I was fixing something on the computer while that was going on. So I had to watch it back to hear what he's saying, and he kind of almost made it sound like that his sponsor, he did the show even though he had a broken arm, and he somewhat was all by himself in the hospital by himself, and nobody was there for him or.
Said he felt like he was going to let people down by not doing the show.
Right. That's the way I took it, he didn't want to let people down. But, I heard that his sponsor is not pleased about his comments, and there's some.
He started mentioning sponsorship and.
Yeah, I mean, because they think because he somehow made it sound like that, he had to do the show.
Okay.
In order to be able to provide and not.
You can miss things by using.
Well, let's.
In one word, you can.
Okay, when we all talk at the same time, I don't hear anything.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one more time. So his sponsor contacted me and basically told me, that because it aired, and they told me that. They're very disappointed because, they were the ones telling him not to compete. Okay. and they were supposedly they were with him, and so it's unfortunate. I hate
Let's be devil's advocate. Yeah, let's all of us be. If sponsor is
But
looking,
remember when the stuff come out with Rubio, the same type of talk.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing if it's not true.
No, maybe it's my fault to ask him because I heard that he broke the arm, and then I've seen his scar, and it was like a couple of months before, which is mind-boggling that you can recover and compete and look like this at that level and all this stuff. So I wanted to commend him for wow, what you did is unbelievable. Not going into the direction that, they force him to do it. I don't think he ever mentioned anything that they made him do it. It's just his responsibility and professionalism, and he's all in. He tried to make it anyway. Back in our days, if we signed a contract to compete and we don't compete, we get penalized. You remember there was a $5,000 from the show promoter, and then from a sponsor, it can be differently. So in any way, I don't know who is his sponsor, just to put my 2 cents on it. Vlad did not put it in the direction to say, they made me do it. It's more like, okay, he tried to be professional enough, tried to make it, and he ended up making it and compete. So in that sense, this is my honest opinion.
I mean,
that
I felt
if
like
they took it away.
I felt like that too, kind of. But when I watched it back, and I heard what he was saying, and he did say that he was left alone. He was all alone in the hospital, and he did say that. I watched it back, and I'm
What does that mean?
I don't know because I don't know what that means. But I guess they have some issues because they are not happy with him because supposedly it's the total opposite. They were with him, at all time. Basically told him not to do it. He don't have to worry about it. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just I don't like situations like this where, either way, the athlete or the sponsors, because it's just I just hate to see stuff like this. At the end of the day,
We're making content. We made a video.
Huh?
Because we made content. It's out there, and some people can take it
Well,
the one way some people, feel like,
sometimes you have to choose your words wisely, which I understand. And there's a language barrier, so this could be a part. This could be many parts. But at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do. I mean, nobody forced him to say anything, or nobody asked him.
Well, I did ask.
Well, you asked him about his arm. You didn't ask him about the situation around it. So at the end of the day,
because the thing is, I've been in a hospital a long time, Dennis, as you know, when I had my back and I had that spinal infection, and you do feel alone.
yeah.
When you're in the hospital 24/7, no outside air, no music, nothing that's going to make you feel like someone is there for you, because you feel alone a lot. And I'm sure there's a lot of tears going on that he wasn't even talking about, because that's all part of it also. And when I was with Muscle Tech, when I came out of that whole thing, I was trying to save my last little career, my last little money, whatever I could do. I was trying. So then I went to go visit my son, and we was riding on a BMX bike trail, because I used to race when I was younger. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I wasn't even on my bike. And I ended up changing my whole direction of my career, because I was going to make it back from the spinal infection. But when I went over that tabletop and I came down, and my front tire, I couldn't push back on the seat and landed. And then I tore my tricep, and I was getting ready to make my comeback. And, they all about was like, hey, you got to make it back to Olympia to keep your money the same and keep everything moving. So I just kept putting it in ice, and I kept moving forward towards competing, when I should have just got the operation. But being in a hospital care for 6 months, I was done with the hospital. I was not going back to the hospital. I felt suicidal.
Yeah, but 6 months in the hospital,
that type of situation.
6 months in the hospital, that's a long time, man. That's totally understandable.
Long time.
I just hate situations like this, and it still happens. So what can you do?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I hope they somehow find a way to, I don't know.
So who do we have not qualifying yet, and having 2 spots left?
Well,
Hunter
Hunter, and then whoever wins England.
Who's doing England at this point? Do we even know?
The problem is you don't know until Monday before the show, until they make it
You
official.
got to sign the contracts.
Yeah, but you have until Monday before the show. It's not like you get a list. You don't get a list of competitors before, so you can promote, unless you know it from the athlete himself that he signed up. But other than that, you don't know until Monday before. So, but I think that Vlad is doing England, and I think that Rubiel will be doing England if he's not winning Italy. I mean, that makes sense. I was hoping that Beirut is going to do Italy and England, but I guess he's missing out on 2 paychecks.
Well, we're working on that visa as we talk here.
I know, but in the meantime, he's losing 2 paychecks, good ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to our 6 weeks out predictions, guys. 6 more weeks. I can remind you from last week, if you don't remember, Milos got a lot of flack for not having Nick in the top 5. So let's see where we see we see him this week. Milos, I'm gonna let you start because you're already ready to go.
Yeah, I do see Hadi. I'm stick with Hadi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I posted some of the videos of Derek Lansworth from last year's Olympia, and it was like a little bit different angle. I don't know if you guys saw it on my Instagram. So when you see, 3-dimensional, and sometimes seeing it from a different angle, gives you a different perspective. But I still don't think that he has a body to beat Samson in his all-time best shape, which I expect he should be. Probably improved. And I do expect him to be there, battling with Hadi. Third would be between Derek.
Okay, hold on. So you got who in second?
Second First Hadi, second Samson. Third, I do have a huge hopes for Andrew Jack. And if Andrew Jack improves the way he could have, jump over Samson. So right now we don't know. So we're still 6 weeks out. So I have a Hadi, Samson, Andrew, Derek. Okay. Now let's touch the subject of Fort.
Derek fourth.
And people get pissed off.
I know. You're just talking and just having people somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and he's not in top 5. So you tell me now, if you are one of those, why would you admit to, let's say, Nick Walker? Yes, Nick, you're a better bodybuilder than me. Yeah, you should place ahead of me. Any of those guys that I mentioned, right? If I talk in front of them, I think they're better bodybuilders. You can maybe out-condition them, maybe outsize them here and there, but we are talking about bodybuilding. So people get pissed off, like, oh, how can you possibly get him out of top 5? Why not? Somebody has to be first and somebody has to be fifth.
Yeah.
It's like this. When I throw in Behruz in, bias coach. Not to mention that Behruz could win any pro show he ever entered, beating, top guys, but I would be biased. He could have won every fucking show that he ever entered. He's that good. So do I like his physique better than Nick's? Hell yeah. So I would still put Behruz ahead of Nick. Yeah, I would. And then, oh man, you're out of your mind. Nick plays top 3 at Olympia. Yeah. They didn't stand next to each other. When Nick stood next to Martin Fitzwater, right? There was a battle. So it will be a battle again. Who's going to win?
Yeah.
I go for hashtag bodybuilding shape, V-taper, beauty of the physique. Can he be a little bit freakier? Yeah. In the freaky department, I'll give you, but you're not going to win in bodybuilding contest.
Right.
So 5th is Behruz. And the way the LABRADA is looking right now, I think even he's going to beat Nick. So Nick is not going to be even in top 6. So I'm going to for sure be a Nick hater.
So you got Hunter in 6th.
I see in 6th. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you guys know, I love Nick.
I'm going to repeat that for everybody that didn't follow. Milos has Hadi number 1, Samson 2nd place, Andrew in 3rd, Derek in 4th, Behruz in 5th, and Hunter in 6th. Nick, I'm sorry, brother. Milos got no love for you today. All right. This is today, 6 weeks out, guys. Don't take it too serious. Chris, what say you?
Don't take it too serious.
Yeah. And don't take it personal. I mean, it's like even athletes take stuff personal. I thought this is 6 weeks out. This might be the total opposite in 6 weeks. Chris.
Exactly. Right now, my bet's on.
I'm gonna go Hadi, Derek, Nick, Samson, Jack.
Yep.
It's 5.
And Behruz.
6. Okay.
All right. I already have mine written down, so nobody thinks I'm copying anybody. I have, Chris, I repeat, Hadi 1st, Derek 2nd, Nick in 3rd, Samson 4th, Andrew 5th, Behruz 6th. Okay.
But Dennis, before you go.
Yes.
Don't you agree that he should elaborate a little bit, not just give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
No, you don't have to, because he doesn't have to elaborate. It's
Your
just
style. I don't want to copy your style.
Yeah, this is your style, Milos. You do that. I don't do that either.
It's your style.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Hadi winning. I got Derek in 2nd. I have Samson in 3rd. I have Nick in 4th. I have Andrew in 5th, and Hunter in 6th. I do not have Beirut in there because I don't believe Beirut's going to get his visa. Simple as that. That's why I do not put him in there, because I'm 99% sure he's not going to get his visa. Maybe I'm wrong, but then I will have enough time to make some changes if necessary.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that's
Fluid.
that's the way I see it. Yeah. And and Milos, because Milos elaborated well when he says he has Samson in 2nd because he thinks Samson's going to be at his all-time best. I believe Derek will be at his all-time best. And I think Derek at his all-time best is going to be better than Samson. Simply because when they turn around, it's going to be lights out double. So
It's gonna be
In 8 rounds.
It's gonna be Derek from behind, but not lights out.
no. But when I'm from behind,
I mean, yeah.
I
Like
like
last year when he did that. Last year it was when he turned around and did the back double biceps. That was like Stan, Mr. Olympia.
I
right?
know, but
because people would just focus. But there's 7 more poses, and there's no other poses is lights out.
I get you, but I'm giving him.
No?
No. You have a point. You have a point.
Why is
Honey was lights out from behind.
You have a point, but what I'm trying to say is I give Derek the benefit of the doubt that he made some drastic changes this year, and he's going to come in and everything that we complained about, he's still young. He's the youngest guy on that stage, or one of the youngest ones. He still has the time to get better, and if they know what they have to do. They know what it was, and I think this is going to be fixed. I believe that he's going to be much, much better from the front than he was last year. From the back, we don't even have to talk about it because, like you said, stamp. And for that, I believe that Derek is going to beat Samson because
You analyze a bit more?
Huh?
2021, 212. He beat Sean Clarida in 212. He was soft
Yeah, but
from the front.
you're talking 3 years ago.
Soft. Okay, another year, 2022. Second place to Hadi. Soft from the front. Okay, 2023. What happened? Okay, and he's still young. This is the way his body is, and yeah, he might improve somewhat.
So you don't think
but
that he
be realistic.
So you don't think that he can mature from the front?
He could.
I don't think it's a
at
thing of
which
maturity,
level?
though.
Because we spent 3 years already. We already spent 3 years. Could he? Listen, I'm gonna give you one thing. The video that I posted, his legs look crazy.
No, listen.
A little bit.
Milos, the beginning of the competition, they were crazy. It was his whole bottom half was on. His legs faded as the show went on. So you're gonna see both of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going off.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm just going off if everybody nails it. That's my prediction. If everybody nails it.
Yeah.
If Hadi nails it.
And Nick is gonna always be tight. That's why.
Yeah. That's why I have him in
Can't
4th.
slide him down.
That's why I have him in 4th. If Samson
But let me
misses his peak,
let me put it this way.
I'll have Nick beating him.
Let me put it this way. The 6 people I mentioned plus Nick 7th, they can all win the Olympia.
Of course.
I mean, I would not bet
There should be.
any part of my body that one of those 7 cannot actually win. Oh, yeah, it's quite possible.
As it should be.
You know, it's like they're jumping on us. Oh, like what? We're supposed to have opinion like everybody else. If somebody else see him winning, I'm supposed to let's be cheerleader. No, I'm giving my opinion. But difference between 1st and 7th can be
Yeah,
zilch.
totally.
Okay, Hadi doesn't have the shapeliest body. We all agree, right? This guy's shapelier than him, bigger than him, but compact is holy shit. Derek, beautiful shape, yeah, but lacks the maturity, hardness, body parts, many mandatory poses. He's not dominant. Okay, Samson and Andrew, crazy physiques, big, tall, wide, shapely. And now who can get in a better condition? Becruz is for Becruz is a little bit more.
I saw
legs.
I
Yeah,
saw
I
some
agree.
I saw
But-
something I saw yesterday or two. I can't remember who. Somebody said something like Belarus is not aesthetic enough. I can't remember. I wanted to write it down and I forgot. Did you hear that?
No,
No, I didn't. But people say shit anyway. He has a smallest waist you've ever seen.
you know what would put him over the top if he had optimum separation and like all over all the time. Because the shape there and the broad clavicle area and the whole man, he's close to being like.
I mean,
I
but
don't know.
this, if Hunter LABRADA nails it, holy shit! Holy shit!
Yeah, but let's see how Italy goes because
Hey,
I mean it's close. This is the best we saw
yeah.
him this close. So let's see if that plane lands the same and with that landing gear as it should.
And he's
gets
got
on into the,
and he's got
to the-
6 weeks to move up.
Yeah. How about Big Ramy?
and
No, I have no idea, to be honest.
You know?
I doubt it. I doubt it. There's no, I doubt it.
think he'll come back again or not?
I doubt it.
Probably did what he's gonna do already, huh?
I mean, what else is there to do for him?
Right.
What does he have to prove that's most likely not going to happen?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he won the Olympia 2 times.
Yeah.
That will never nobody can ever take that away from him. He's got two Sandals at the house. So at the end of the day, he's going to be 41. He's going to be 41 or 40 or 41. Father time catching up with everybody, and we saw it in the last couple of years. It's catching up.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you catch when Lou said that Arthur Jones told him he could be 280
285, yeah.
and like.
But what was
So
that?
I had a moment like that.
Okay, go ahead. You guys breaking.
Go ahead.
You guys breaking up. It's terrible for me. I hope this is not the whole show.
I know you too.
For me, Chris is clear. You're breaking up.
But
And here on the computer, I'm clear, and you guys breaking up. So who is it? I don't know.
someone's gonna win.
Somebody's gonna complain on Sunday. No, I wanted to ask you, what was that story that he took? He took the magazine to the bathroom at the weed office.
No, at his house, because he was staying at his house and sleeping on his on the couch.
Oh, Joe's house.
Yeah, Joe's house, and Betty be walking around the house, and he'd be going like, "Holy shit, she's fine." He said he'd take her magazine because at the time Betty had her own little article in the magazine. And
Oh,
he'd take the magazine bathroom. And you can realize what he said. This is at the funeral. I was like, oh my God.
No, really? He said that at the funeral.
Yes.
He said at the funeral that he was wham bam, thank you, ma'am, on Betty's pictures.
At the funeral.
In his-
dog.
oh, that's fucking.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, on Betty with Betty.
And Betty was there.
I said, I had to ask you, was that true or not? Or were you just fucking with everybody? We were rolling, dude. We were dying. Dude. He was so funny.
That's crazy. That's
We
crazy.
didn't ask you what is it nowadays,
Huh?
But I was saying that when he said the 285, I said I had a moment like that when I was like 18, and this guy is like, yeah, I just competed for the second time. And he's like, oh, he said, and I just won my first show, and he's like, man, you could be Mr. Olympia one day. I was like, Mr. Olympia? Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I seen those guys in the magazine. The whole top 10 was looking crazy. That was just something I couldn't even imagine at the time. But I was wondering, did you guys ever have a time where someone told you something about you and you're like,
Yeah. Milos,
oh, man,
Milos
that's
told
so far
me. Milos is the one that told me.
What did he say?
Well, What do you think he said? You can be
What
Mr.
did he say?
Olympia. You can win the Olympia.
So you guys both came to like top 3. No, Dennis, you were 4th, right?
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah, 4th. I mean, which is awfully close.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
But, sometimes this is what you need to hear to get that extra motivation again. When somebody says,
You just gotta believe.
when somebody that you look up to says to you, you
gotta believe
can.
it.
I
You gotta believe it.
remember, I
Okay.
never forget.
I believe it wholeheartedly.
I never forget my first Arnold. Remember that Arnold in 2000, Milos, where I barely got in,
Yeah.
and I never
Yeah.
forget because
But you ate the 2 cheesecakes.
Yeah.
Actually, you didn't eat the 2 cheesecakes in the room
the cheesecakes are probably still in there.
the night before, because it's like, wait, one more night.
Yeah. And then right backstage, I'll never forget. Those are the things you never forget. Rich Kaspari came up to me and gave me props. He had no idea who I was. Of course I knew Rich Kaspari. I mean, and he told me the same thing. He's like, fuck, you can go a long way. Those are the things that make you like, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. You know?
Okay,
What about
Chris, question. Dennis at his all-time best. Nick Walker at his all-time best.
That don't even sound right. Come on. Let's not do this. Let's not do these comparisons because I don't. I know this is
I was like,
you can never compare these things because unless you put them next to each other, you can't compare by pictures and stuff
Come
like
on,
that.
don't be softy now.
I'm not soft. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of comparisons from 25 years ago to
That's so
today.
sad. Let's keep it.
that's like I would
Okay.
never compare myself to like Haney or something. Like
All right.
I don't even.
All right. I had to throw that in.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Nick, if you watch this, Milos ain't your friend. He's not your friend. Don't let Milos bullshit you.
I am his friend. Yeah. Hey, I love the guy.
Yeah.
You love the guy. I'm not saying
But you know what?
Okay.
I think
Anyway.
he's taking this as fuel, and he gets better just by listening to stuff like this. It pisses him off, but he takes it.
I hope I pissed him off to the point that he's gonna.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's gonna give me a finger from when he gets the medal.
I don't think anybody can get to Nick. I don't care what you say or anybody says about Nick. I don't think you can get to him. It won't. He's too locked in.
But he has that filter that he turns into the positive. So
Yeah.
the more negative I put it, it's just channels into the positive.
No,
Good.
it's
Just being around Nick and like seeing him at the dinner table, at the in the gym, all that stuff. Just give me a different perspective on probably a lot of people because I know this guy is putting all he's got into everything he's doing.
Yeah.
And you can never really count a guy out like that.
no, you can't. Guys, I appreciate you, man. Time is up.
See you guys.
We'll see you
All
again
right.
next week, and then we'll have some more to talk about. By the way, I have a good guest next week. Be surprised.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys, take care. Peace out.